Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we shall begin with the program. But before we actually do begin, a special presentation, which we're going to actually ask those at the main control to get it ready to go. If we can please lower the instrumentals, actually from this audio engineer, if you can silence yours. Once you do so.
Reverend Sam Superstar. And before we start our program tonight, we'll say a short invocation. Let's bow our head in prayer. Almighty God, giver of all things, with gladness we give you thanks for all your goodness. We thank you for your care and comfort, your means of grace. We thank you for the lives of faithful people. Help us to treasure in our hearts all that you have done for us. Fill our hearts with faith, virtue, knowledge, and patience. This evening, with reverence and affection, we remember before you SEETA PANDAY, someone who had selflessly given of herself in her gift of music and songs. May she rest in peace, and her soul ascend to the highest realm. Amen. On behalf of the INDO-Caribbean Federation, let me welcome each and every one of you to the special program of tribute sponsored by the ICF in memory and in celebration of the life of SEETA PANDAY. I would not get into the details of that, but first of all, many of us here are aware of the ICF, but for those who do not, I'll give a very brief account of who and what we are. The ICF was formed in 1985. Originally, the plan was to help the immigrants who were coming mostly from Guyana in settling away with their legal matters, their immigration matters, and sometimes financially also. But as time went by, it evolved. It became a more of a social, cultural, charitable organization. And through the hard work of President Ralph Tomish and his very able body of officers, the Federation every year are doing excellent work, not only in New York, but in Guyana and the West Indies. They take part in all events. Every year, in commemoration of the Indian Arrival Day, we have the annual Talent and Fashion Show. We have a cricket match. Originally it was between Guyana and Trinidad, but now it has encompassed an international group of players. Players from the continents, from the West Indies, from Guyana and Trinidad. This year, our match will be, I think, in August 24th. And we do invite you to come on and have a wonderful day of cricket and enjoy drinks and lots to eat. In addition to the cultural events, they take part in the Pago Parade and various other events on the Hindu calendar. The ICF, as the name signifies, an Indian organization. However, it does not confine itself with the Indian population. It does work across other national, racial, and ethnic lines. We've done work in Guyana, in Trinidad, in the West Indies, in USA. We help those who may be in disasters. and we do our very, very best with the monies that we have. We do not have lots of money to spread around. Our main source of income are through donations from people like you. And we encourage you to help us in our endeavors to help people around. Lately, we have done some work at Port Moran, those who know the quarantine at the hospital. Mostly they needed a mortuary, and we helped with that. And plans are presently being made to help the hospital in Lebanon. This time we'll be taking up the entire life cycle. They'll be working on the delivery room, maternity ward, the regular wards, and the mortuary also. So we'll be taking care of the person from birth to onwards. And so we do ask you again to look into us, what we do. During the program or after the program, you may contact one of the officers, and I'm quite sure he or she will be most willing to give you some more information on who you are. Now, I have said enough, so I'll call on the most important man in this organization, Ralph Tomesh, a man who has so much energy, I do not know where he gets it from, but I suppose in his willingness and need to help people, that's what's his source of energy. So Ralph, let's put our hands together and welcome Ralph Tomesh to the microphone.
Thank you, Sam. Sam been around the organization for a number of years. He's one of the guys that writes our cricket articles. You know, any time of the night we can count upon him and call upon him, and he's ready and willing. And also, whenever we have our cricket match, he actually did a pre-article. Ladies and gentlemen, before I move on, I want to show you guys who make the organization successful. And I'd like to start by calling some of the executives of the Indo Caribbean Federation. I will start out with Dr. BJ, our treasurer. Next, I'd like to call our secretary, Vanessa Matura. And I'd like to call on our directors now, Mr. Anup Danpat. Next will be Imran Ahmad. And then I'll move on to the executive, the committee members. Lily Laila, Sansan Sani Prasad, Ray Rashid, Isolda Takuddin, Ram Lakanlal, I think that's all our executives here today. I also want to recognize a young man here who was one of the founders of the Indo-Caribbean Federation back in 1985, Mr. Vishnu Vishram, Dr. Vishnu Vishram. I also like to, for this program, I'd like to call some of the people, the committee members, who actually are outside of the Indo-Caribbean Federation. And that would be Sumita Sukram, Navin Pagu, over there doing camera work. And we got Kajal Panday, somewhere around. So these are actually the people who has worked hard for the Indo-Caribbean Federation and makes our event a success. Guys, like I want to reiterate that what Mr. Supersad said, about the Indo-Caribbean Federation, but I will not take up much time. I know we're running a bit late here. And so the Indo-Caribbean Federation, for the past 2 years, I've just emphasized a little bit about the Port Grant Hospital. It was a big project we took upon ourselves 2 years ago in 2019 to build a waiting room. Because in the past, the waiting room wasn't a waiting room. It was a shed outside of the hospital that the patients would actually go there, sit there, sun, rain, and we actually built a brand new waiting area with air conditioning, seating, TVs, you know, and the whole works. Last year, we actually started a project with a mortuary at the hospital. Prior to that, people would have to pay to get their loved ones stored until they're ready for burial. And we built a mortuary, which was a big project. It took us a long time to do it because of the situation in Guyana with the Guyana government. It was held up for a while because we could not get concessions for us to improve the freezer. However, that project was completed on May 19th of this year, and it's commissioned by Dr. Barry Ramsaran and is operated, up and running. So we want to thank all the people who supported the Indo-Caribbean Federation financially towards that project. So give yourself a round of applause for that. And like Sam said, we are moving forward to the Leg 1 Hospital, where we're going to be building a maternity ward. And we've included 4 beds, and also a delivery room and equipment that goes with that. So that's one of the projects we are working on right now. We're still waiting for some approval from the Guyana government. You know, they take a jolly good time there to do that, but we definitely will make that project a success. This evening, we're here to tribute to SEETA PANDAY. SEETA PANDAY has been with the Indo-Caribbean Federation for over 25 years. She has sung at our events at Smoky Park, the East Indian Rival Day celebration. Not only did she sing at Smoky Park, but all other events that the Indo-Caribbean Federation took part in. She's one of the persons that never asked the Indo-Caribbean Federation for a penny. She's always done this. Her generosity was great towards the ICF. In the later years, for the past 15 years, she started to judge the singing competition at Smoky Park also. So she was someone that we actually can depend upon year after year for her services. So that's why we decided fittingly to do something for her. I know I wanted to do it earlier in the year, but because of the COVID restrictions, we could not have done anything. The limitation of a venue. You know, we are open today that we can actually accommodate like about 175 people, and that's why we choose to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to, welcome you guys once again, and we're going to move along with the program. At this time, I'd like to introduce the 2 people who are going to be carrying the afternoon, the MC, Imran Ahmad from ITV, and also Sunita here. So these 2 people are actually going to take us through the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Can we please give President Tamesh a big round of applause? Wonderful. Well, a very special good evening, namaste, namaskar, pranam, salam to each and every one of you. And first and foremost, I have to say what a blessing and what an honor it is to have this crowd here today, considering everything that we've been through over the past nearly 2 years. So we're very happy, we're very delighted, and although we have this crowd here today, we're doing this crowd, although there's been a lot of certainties, we're still adhering to the measures of COVID-19, and so hence that's why we know that this is actually, a number of people would have wanted to be here today, so we're very thankful, but they couldn't, so we're very thankful to Akashvani Media, Dr. Dan Pomeroy, and several other people who will be, who's covering this event for the benefit of broadcast. As you heard, that I'm also not only a member of the Indo-Caribbean Federation, but I'm also a television and radio personality. I've been doing so for the last 12 years. I have the honor of, I actually have the honor of I've had the honor of being a part of the ICF board. And today, as we are not only honoring the life and legacy of SEETA PANDAY, We're also remembering a very prominent individual who, for many of you, if you've attended our East Indian Arrival Day celebration, you do know that many of the singers have been backed by the Sansar Sangeet Orchestra. Actually, Mr. Anup Danpad at the Sansar Sangeet Orchestra. Big round of applause. A week after, or I believe it's a week or two after, well, SEETA PANDAY passed away, one of the leading members of the Sansar Sangeet Orchestra, Mr. Kelvin Singh, better known as Uncle Jerry, departed as well. Now, for many years, a lot of the singers who were in this room, that was singing for the East Indian Arrival Day celebration was, for many of you, was your first time sitting on stage. And for months and months, actually, Mr. Jerry Singh, well, he provided his basement, his space of his basement, so that the singers can rehearse, they can be all set and ready to go, come on the day of the East Indian Arrival Day celebration. So we're going to honor his memory, his legacy as well. All right, so now here's what we're going to be doing. We do know that we're kind of behind on time. I'm going to ask all the singers, most of you, you've been told that you will be making, singing a song or basically making a speech. So we're going to let you know that the singers, we've allocated 4 minutes to the singers. So I know that some of you might want to share a memory. Please use your time at your own discretion. If you want to speak, or if you want to sing, all together, your time is 4 minutes. The singers, I think the dancers are about 3 minutes, and then the speeches, we're asking you to actually keep within the 3-minute time frame. So as we begin with today's program, I would like for all of you to please give a big round of applause for our first singer, none other than Mr. Muhammad Jabbar, who's actually won second place at the East Indian Arrival Day celebration, Male Singing Competition 2019. He'll be doing the first song. Another big round of applause as he makes his way through.